Dr. Jackson, and we're back, and we'll pick up where we left off. Again, this is the Regions and Culture project that I developed for the course. There are two PowerPoints. I have them opened already because I explained the computer is very slow. Let's hope this loads. So historically, this kind of provides some reference points for the students about France's early history, and it goes all the way to fairly recent. The other PowerPoint is a lot more contemporary, and that talks about what is culture, general attitudes, and just gives them a good broad background about French culture, attitudes, and so forth. From there, they go to venture to French culture. They would choose a region of their choice. I obviously explain a little bit about the regions, what's in which regions, etc. And then I provide sites for them to look at. And there's the expectations, what will be submitted. They each submit a brochure, a PowerPoint, and then they give an oral presentation. This is a French 1 class, so I encourage them to use as much French as possible as they can in the presentation, and they'll get extra credit for that. And usually they do a pretty good job with that. I also provide some examples of what a work should look like. This is a student's project from this year, actually. And this is what their, so let's see, we can make this bigger. And you can see what the brochure will look like. Slide 1, slide 2. Interesting facts about the area, some pictures and about the whole section. And the PowerPoint follows. The grading rubric and then the lesson plans are at the bottom. And we're 231. This is Passé Composé Avoir. This would be the next unit that I've done the majority of these with the students this year and tested them out. I think I demoed this already. But I've added to it since. There's a Google Docs file for this. Again, I had the issue with students changing certain things. In this sense, I don't believe they can edit it. Okay, and they go through. It's a tutorial about the Passé Composé. There's a short video they can watch about forming the Passé Composé. If they have any additional questions. There's certain documents, and then there's the lesson plans. And again, this would be supplemental to what we're doing in class. And then there's Passé Composé être. The big difference between Passé Composé avoir and être is there's certain verbs that are only conjugated with être, and if you memorize those, you pretty much got the difference. So I put that right up there. That's part of the discussion board. Again, there's a Google Docs presentation for Passé Composé être. And so I made the two presentations at the same time. So they tend to be on this one. I put the wrong version up here, but then they would have the ability to edit this one. But I have to figure out a way to change that. I'll probably just end up changing it to they wouldn't be able to edit it. But the cool thing about this one was there's actually self-practice exercises built into it, which is why I wanted them to have the ability to go in there and then correct their answers. But I could easily add that to the page, obviously, and then even add those as assessments as well. There were some really cool videos about Dr. and Mrs. Vandertrip, which I added up there. They embed very well, and it gives students a nice touch. And then the lesson plans are accompanied, and we are butting right up against our time limit right here.